January 2004 at Tsukuba Circuit. Hot Version, the video segment in Best Motoring International, organized an event to commemorate Keiichi Tsuchiya's retirement from the racing scene as a driver. Despite the cold weather, thousands of Keiichi Tsuchiya fans gathered at Tsukuba.
もういっぱい来てるね、ジロちゃん。私たちが久しぶりに登場するから待っててくれてんだいね。来ましたね。
ご無沙汰してます、君たちは。
ご無沙汰してます。
もう何とかの企画なんかとうとう昔に数年前に終わってるよ。
皆さんのリクエストにお答えして。
終わってたもんな、企画お前。
こっちだからお客さん待ってたお客さんこんなの相手にして
イベントのためにわざわざ来たのに。
生11いないと始まんないよ。いいからこれ。まだやってんじゃってるから。
お仕事は何ですか？
皆さんおはようございます。オープニングだと思いました。実は私たち前説なんですね。失礼いたしました。
To lead off the event, Piston Nishizawa, one of Japan's top radio DJs and longtime friend of Tsuchiya, joined the party. Our usual Best Motoring and Hot Version cast was also there. They would never miss this shindig. Hot Version special run in Tsukuba. No one knew Keiichi Tsuchiya's name when he first ran in the Fuji Freshman Series driving the Hachiroku. But Tsuchiya stunned the crowd from the first race, showing his trademark sideway cornering, now better known as drifting.
同じ1600の NA と勝負する気はないよね。やっぱり2リッターターボのスカイラインが獲物。
Not only was he untouchable in his class, but Tsuchiya mesmerized everyone, especially in the rain when he chased off the higher power Skylines. Tsuchiya went on to win 6 races in a row. After the sensational debut in the Freshman Series, Tsuchiya signed with Advan to drive their factory Hachiroku. Tsuchiya continued to win in the Freshman Series, driving for various teams in Group A. But inside Tsuchiya, there remained a sense of regret, as if he left something unfinished. He never had a chance to drive in the N2 AE86 Corolla Sprinter Grand Cup Series.
俺がどんなにそのフレッシュマンで活躍してようが、グループ A で活躍してようが、このレースだけは出させてもらえなかったよね。TRD から認められたドライバーしかダメだったよね。でもやっぱりね、すごい乗りたかったよね。なんで俺じゃ乗れないんだっていう、これだけは本当に悔いが残ったね。
Tsuchiya never got the chance to live out his dream. Although the race no longer exists, passionate drivers and owners of the Hachiroku are still present. They all live for their Hachirokus. Thanks to the devotion and passion of these Hachiroku owners and Tsuchiya's long-term dream, the Tsukuba N2 race was organized again. Tsuchiya entered the first race in the TRD machine, but finished 3rd overall. The following year, the second Tsukuba N2 race was held. The hardcore Hachiroku drivers weren't going to let even Tsuchiya win that easy. As the race became an annual event, highly skilled Hachiroku drivers from all of Japan came to compete in the race. In the 3rd year of the race, Tsuchiya finally captured the first place podium. In the 4th race, Tsuchiya's Hachiroku experienced an unfortunate engine blow and retired early in the race. With no one winning the race consecutively, the series was becoming very competitive, requiring the entrants to have serious driving skills. The 5th race will be held as part of this Hot Version special Tsukuba Run event. Along with the usual entrants, there will be a lot of new participants to the race, but none of them had the experience in racing in front of a big crowd. The qualifying run was for only 30 minutes. Including Tsuchiya's TRD Hachiroku, only 10 cars would advance to the final race. Team Uchibori clocks a competitive time of 1 minute, 1 second. SS Works and NX11 followed to clock the second and third best lap times. Tsuchiya still warming up his tires. His plan is to go for the time attack in the second half of the 30-minute qualifying window.
車調子は結構いいですよ、今のところ。で、3ラップしてからタイヤの温度を決めて、で、ちょっとタイムアタックする。
Marking their best record, KMS clocks a lap time of 1 minute, 0.8 seconds to grab the lead. Right on schedule, Tsuchiya comes in for the pit stop. He returns to the track, now ready for the time attack. Tsuchiya's TRD machine goes into the time attack. Just as Tsuchiya begins his run, Tekart's Hachiroku takes a major wipeout in the last corner. The qualifying session is temporarily halted.
オーバー出ます？いや、これは大丈夫なんですけど。
For the first time, Juichi Wakisaka was driving in this race sitting in Technospirit's Hachiroku. Although this race was a shakedown for the newly built engine, Wakisaka managed to clock the team's fastest time ever. Spirits was also running a second car with Orito in the driver's seat. However, the shakedown run for this car wasn't going as well as Wakisaka's car, clocking a lap time of 1 minute 2.06 seconds. Another newcomer to the race was Ueo, a well-known name from the D1 drifting series. His lap time was 1 minute 3.057 seconds, which was 11th overall. One of the top contenders in this N2 race, Hameda's Hachiroku was having some difficulty shortening their lap times. Hameda decides to make an emergency pit stop. The real problem wasn't clear, but they decided to take off the tower bar. Uchibori's Hachiroku is doing very well so far, clocks a lap time of 1 minute 0.964 seconds. However, KMS manages to keep the lead with 1 minute 0.767 seconds. Tsuchiya was still in stealth mode. Auto Factory was now in 4th place, followed by Sugibayashi in 5th. Car Factory I, who came in 3rd place in the last race, was holding their breath in 10th place.
さあ、そろそろ土屋さん、本当に来ないとやばいぞ、土屋圭一。
Only 5 minutes to go in the qualifying session, Tsuchiya finally restarts his time attack. Most of the teams were now off the track, saving their tires for the final race. Tsuchiya's strategy worked, securing him a clear track for the time attack. Up to 7th position with 1 minute 1.472 seconds. He continues on the time attack. Receiving distinctive feedback from the biased tires, Tsuchiya's senses were focused on the tire grip, trying to use all the traction available to him. Sector time from the control tower to the second hairpin showed that this lap was going to reach the 1 minute 0 second range. How was the last corner without a GT wing? The car showing a little oversteer. Tsuchiya marks 1 minute 0.779 seconds, second in the qualifying round. Even with the major crash in the last corner, Techart manages to qualify with a time of 1 minute 2.4 seconds. Car Factory IE also manages to improve their time into the 1 second range, qualify for the final race. Spirit's second car managed to clock the 2.2 seconds range with Orito's driving technique, but they fall short on qualifying. Top contender Kameda tried their best but also fall short. Top 10 qualifiers.
なんだろう、俺も86に乗ると本気になっちゃうっていうなんか悪い癖があるんだけどね。たとえこういうイベントのレースであろうがアマチュアのレースであろうが86に乗っちゃうとダメかもね。俺は勝つことしか考えない。
いや86初めて乗りました。最高ですね。なんちゅってもね、なんていうの、車がね安定するからね、コーナーのねクリップ手前ぐらいからアクセル踏めんのね。あの感覚はね今のまでの車もないし、レーシングカーでもなんていうかな、 GT にしてもフォーミュラでもあっからアクセル踏めれたらね全部ポールかなって思う感覚でアクセルを踏める。でそれがもう30年前の車でしょ。もう驚きました。
終わった。
全然ブレーキが効いてない。もっと効かせたの。
結果はもう素直に受け止めて次につなげれるような感じで頑張ります。
もう一回そうですね、本当に完璧な体勢で。
どうしちゃったんですか？オイルポンプがいってしまいました。まあしょうがないですね。
It turned out to be quite a dramatic qualifying session. Here's the starting grid for the final race. In pole position is the Brig Wakos, KMS-11, driven by Yoshinori Koshimizu. Grid number 2 is Keiichi Tsuchiya in the TRD Hachiroku, a must-win race for Tsuchiya. Third grid is Hideaki Uchibori from Uchibori Auto Works. The winner of the previous race, SS Works, starts from the fourth grid with Shunei Kawasaki in the driver's seat. Coming in top of the private drivers is Isao Kaneko, securing the fifth grid. Auto Factory manages to capture the sixth grid on its debut race. Maze Circuit's Meister Kenichi Sugibayashi starts from grid 7. GT driver Juichi Wakisaka will be starting from the 8th grid. Third place winner from the previous race, Kotaro Koizumi, starts from the 9th grid. And the 10th grid was taken by Annex Advan Levin. And after a heavy attempt of bribing and pleading to the event organizers, Orito draws his own grid at the back row as the 11th grid. It's time for the final race. The top 9 cars are within 1 second of their qualifying times. Tsuchiya's TRD Hachiroku is off to a good start. Tries to sneak inside the KMS car, but just can't get by him. Tsuchiya said before the race that when the tires are still cold, not having a GT wing isn't a disadvantage. Tsuchiya putting on pressure to Koshimizu. Behind at the start, Kaneko gets too close to the Spirit's Hachiroku driven by Wakisaka. Despite the hair-raising spin, Wakisaka recovers and gets back on the track immediately. KMS Hachiroku is actually spreading the lead from the TRD machine on the straightaway, but no one on the track is better at driving with cold tires than Tsuchiya as he closes the gap at corner entry. Due to Kaneko's accident, the red flag is out. Tsuchiya's cold tire advantages will no longer stand. The accident left no car with serious damages. Kaneko restarts from the very back.
なかなか手強いね。腕もいいし、車もまともに決まってるよね。コーナーも速いし、直線も速いし。これはちょっと不利かもね。
The race restarts as a 7-lap battle. At first corner entry, Uchibori missed downshifts and hits the first place KMS car in the rear. Because of the minor contact, Tsuchiya is forced to fall back into third place. Tsuchiya's original plan was to grab the lead when everyone's tires were still cold and get away until the end. Wakisaka in the Spirits Hachiroku clears the Dunlop corner, this time without any problems. After restarting, the cars come back to the control tower with KMS on top, followed closely by Uchibori and Tsuchiya. Uchibori keeping his cool even under the pressure of being tailgated by the king, Keiichi Tsuchiya. However, at the second hairpin, Uchibori's countersteer angle gets slightly big. Tsuchiya jumps into the slipstream and passes. Despite being passed, Uchibori tries to hang in from the outside. Now the TRD Hachiroku is in second place, locking onto the KMS car in front. Yoshinori Koshimizu is an experienced driver on the Tsukuba circuit. He knows the track inside and out and is especially fast from the Dunlop corner to the ADR turn. Tsuchiya retaliates by braking late. Sugibayashi, who usually practices at the Maze circuit, is enjoying himself here in Tsukuba. Coming out of the second hairpin, Sugibayashi locks onto the SS Works Hachiroku. See, he's loving it, climbs up to 5th place. Going through the last corner, Tsuchiya sneaks up on Koshimizu with unbelievable braking technique. Tsuchiya's TRD machine is now in top position. Although the Hachiroku is new to him, JGTC and Formula Nippon driver Wakisaka is no stranger when it comes to racing. Tsuchiya finally on top, driving his passion, the Hachiroku. He's knocking out lap times close to his qualifying runs. As the race progresses into its final laps, Wakisaka encounters some brake problems, inevitably slowing his pace down. Like a vulture, the SS Works, Car Factory Ai, and Kaneko stock the Spirits Hachiroku. Only 2 laps to go. This is Uchibori's first time driving in the finals after disqualifying 4 years in a row. He's pushing his car to the limit. The KMS Hachiroku has better acceleration. Uchibori again makes a mistake shifting up. Most of the cars in the final race are lapping in the minute 1 second range. Sugibayashi looking to go ahead but is blocked by Auto Factory's Hachiroku. Although the rest of the race looked like a breeze for Tsuchiya, the TRD machine was drastically showing oversteer as the laps progressed. Will Tsuchiya's car make it to the finish line? The battle for 4th place is heating up. The experienced driver, Auto Factory's Jun Tashiro, driving the perfect blocking line, making it impossible for Sugibayashi to pass. The final lap, Tsuchiya with a 3-second lead against the second place KMS Hachiroku. But everyone knows that this race is still up for grabs since the Hachiroku can turn evil with one wrong move. Tsuchiya, running without a GT wing, has been sliding his rear tires a lot, causing significant tire wear. Tsuchiya using all of his skills to tame the Hachiroku that could slide off the track anytime. Yoshinori Koshimizu, in second place, has surely not given up. On the last lap, Sugibayashi gets a break coming out of the corner to the back straightaway and passes the Auto Factory Hachiroku. Very impressive driving by the amateur driver. Tsuchiya's TRD Hachiroku gets the checkered flag, a second victory for Tsuchiya in the Tsukuba N2 race. Today's battle ends up being the fastest and the most competitive race ever in the series.
よかった。よかったよかった。ねえ TRD のメンツがあるよ。もうなんで4位なの。タイヤ大丈夫だけどね、やっぱりディアウィングないから辛いんで、最終コーナーと80あるから。
クリップに近づいた時が一番やばいんだよね。 GT ウィングがないと。 GT ウィングだとギュッとタイヤを潰してくれるからいいんだけど、 GT ウィングないから動き出しちゃうんだよ。こうその時にアクセルを入れられないっていうね。だからもうそれを読んで、ケツ滑ってもカウンターテレがなんとかなるだろうって踏んじゃえっていうね、そういう運転だな。
俺の後ろにいた何、あの2位と3位のやつ、あれ気に入らないね。早い素人のくせにずっと俺についてくんの。
俺は別にプライベートだと思ってない。86のプロだと思ってる。リジットみたいな足回りの車を操るっていうのはすごい難しいこと。だから俺はアマチュアだとは思ってない。彼らは86乗りのプロだと思うよ。
Hot Version will continue to organize this Hachiroku Tsukuba N2 race in the future. We'll welcome anyone who's up for the challenge. In 1991, Keiichi Tsuchiya was chosen to drive the Skyline GTR in the All Japan Touring Car Series.
GTR は俺にね、一流ドライバーっていう印象を与えてくれたと思う。もうこれは絶対誰にも渡さないっていう。
The race at Sugo in 1992 stands out in Tsuchiya's memory. The first driver, Kunimitsu Takahashi, handed over the car to Tsuchiya in 5th position. From then on, Tsuchiya drove in one of the most exciting third-place battles in the history of the Group A series.
チャンスを伺うなんていう言葉は俺にはない。もうどこでも抜いてやるっていう。今考えたら本当に乱暴なレースだよね、これね。飛ばそうがぶつけようが全くペナルティのないレースだったからね、これ。
Tsuchiya came out on top from the historical battle and captured the third-place podium with his mentor, Kunimitsu Takahashi. Group A Taisan GTR Special Run in Tsukuba.
12、3年前のじゃあ熱い走りをじゃあこれでもう片鱗だけでも見せてください。
そうですね。
はい、
はい、
お願いします。
行ってみたいと思います。前回の時も大丈夫。
大丈夫。タイヤが冷えてる。
タイヤやばいね。
タイヤはやばい。
これが1位。めちゃくちゃ懐かしいねこれ。嬉しい。すげえ。こんなシビアだっけ車。650馬力だもんね。しかしリスももうすごいね、こういうのね。走れるようにするっていうのがすごい。
In the summer of 2000, Nismo fully restored this car at the prestigious Omori factory.
気持ちいいね、やっぱね。
For today's run, Nismo replaced the upright made of magnesium to a new piece made from a more durable aluminum.
いや、気がつないわ。
Except for the tires, the exterior looks exactly the same as it did before. Group A machines raced in distinctive balloon tires, but today's car is equipped with Yokohama racing slicks from the Super Type Q series. Despite the narrow tires and a mismatched gear ratio, Tsuchiya easily clocks a minute, 0.2 seconds. Suddenly, Tsuchiya found himself with other cars on the track. Orito, Wakisaka, and Taniguchi go out to the track in Group A replica GTRs. The track suddenly looked like the real Group A races.
なんかもう当時のまんまって感じがする。懐かしい。もうね、このレースがなくなった時はね、俺レースやめようと思ったもんね。もっと昔を思い出すね。いや、シーンとした中にね、グループ A で4台くらい戻ってくる感じがね、まるでね、なんかこう映画のワンシーンっていうか、夢の世界みたいな。そうですね。本当にあの13年前が蘇り返ってですね。
The BNR32 Group A GTR undoubtedly carved a benchmark in Japan's motorsport history. A popular race from the Nismo Festival, the Toon GTR and Sylvia battle was the next race in the event. The grid was formed in reverse pole position, the usual starting method in BMI and hot version. The GTR and Sylvia 5-lap battle begins. The MCR GTR, a car from the Toge Monsters garage, is driven by MCR's own Shinichi Kobayashi. The Mines GTR has Manabu Orito. This race is like the My Car Challenge, tuner versus pro driver. The three Sylvias are no match for the 600 horsepower plus GTRs, but Yashio Factory Sylvia with Oka-chan behind the wheel is hanging in there. Tsuchiya in the Nismo GTR running at the top. Kobayashi in the MCR GTR locking onto Tsuchiya, getting ready for the passing opportunity on the back straightaway. Keep an eye on Kobayashi's right hand. See him press the scramble turbo boost switch? Easily passes the Nismo GTR. Orito tries to follow the MCR machine. Tsuchiya was determined to win the race and defend the manufacturer's honor and pride. The performance gap seems too big. In the back, Autoland Yamagata's S14 retiring from the race due to clutch problems. The battle is in the third lap. Kobayashi in the MCR GTR and Orito in the Mines GTR battling it out for top position. Using good speed coming out of the last turn, Orito puts pressure on Kobayashi going into the first corner. Kobayashi doesn't let people push him around, but this time he has no choice but to leave space for Orito. Going into the first hairpin side by side, MCR Kobayashi clinging to the lead. Orito continues to put pressure as the two cars battle it out head-to-head without any cheap blocking. Whoa, Okamura in the Yashio Factory S15 catches up within range to hunt down Tsuchiya's Nismo GTR. The The battle enters the final lap. It will be interesting to see what Orito intends to do to grab the lead from Kobayashi. Locking on to the MCR GTR in the infield. Kobayashi closes any room inside, Orito putting on pressure with out and inside maneuvers. Where Kobayashi had to close the inside, he had to ease the gas, giving up an opportunity for Orito to make a move. Kobayashi uses the scramble boost button again, taking the risk of blowing the engine. Orito in the Mines GTR breathing down on Kobayashi. He crosses over and jumps inside. Orito in the Mines GTR muscling into the inside. MCR is desperately hanging in. Who won? Orito grabs the checkered flag by a mere bumper length. Tsuchiya barely manages to keep his position in front of Yashio Factory's S15. Taniguchi, way back of the pack, demonstrates some drifting to the fans in the grandstand. As the event progressed, we knew that this might be the last time to see Tsuchiya drive the GT machine. He will drive it to rewrite the course record at Tsukuba.
最後の俺のラストチャンスだなっていうのはあったよ。今までやっぱり金石だとかカストメアグリが予選アタックやってきたし、一人一人のメカニックエンジニアファンのみんなを裏切りたくないから、ここはもう俺だけの舞台、俺だけの予選っていうつもりで出したタイム。
Keiichi Tsuchiya's final Tsukuba course record challenge. The car to be used was the 2002 GT NSX. The 03 model was actually modified to the 04 model, so it was not available. The ARTA team had worked on the car for this day, for Tsuchiya's time attack. Before the time attack, Tsuchiya goes out on the circuit to feel the car and make final adjustments. It's been about 2 months since he last drove a GT machine. Tsuchiya was enjoying the drive, slowly increasing the pace. To decrease the oversteer, the left rear damper was hardened by 2 clicks and the rear wing was further raised. Despite driving on used racing tires, Tsuchiya easily clocked 53.6 seconds. The current course record of 53.1 seconds was clocked by Satoshi Motoyama in 1999. It was still supposed to be a practice run, but Tsuchiya kept increasing his speed. The racer within him was taking over. When he came back to the control tower, he easily clocked 52.748 seconds, a new course record.
まだいけるね。これでぴったりするね。ニュー入ってあとコンマ3秒ぐらい上がるかな。すごいバランスがいい。
基本的には02は前回ここで残念ながらラーメンなんか走ってて57秒で、あれをね帰って計算するとね53秒フラットぐらいはあの時いけてたんじゃないかなってデータ見てると、それとちょっとこの車は僕ら長い間いろいろ使って結構ノウハウがあったんで、基本的には非常にバランスよく、仕上がってた車だと思います。ただ路面温度がね下がりだすとちょっと厄介なんでね、できるだけこのまま火が出た状態を次も望みます。はい。
This event was coming to a finale. Tsuchiya goes out for his last time attack. He goes out for a lap on used tires to check the machine setting. He returns back to the pit. For the first time this day, the machine is equipped with brand new soft compound tires. How much time can these tires shave off the lap time? Racing driver, goes out for his final run. But suddenly, the sun hides behind the clouds, dropping the track surface temperature. The tires were designed to run on warmer surfaces. Despite the setback, Tsuchiya comes back to mark 52.631 seconds. The new tires were surely effective. The car was turning into the corner with much sharpness and accelerating out with great traction. He marks 52.017 seconds. The crowd is now hungry to break the 52-second barrier. As a second driver, Tsuchiya was always there to support his younger teammates. When he drove, the tire was never new. Today, Tsuchiya was proving to everyone what he was capable of doing with new tires. Tsuchiya was focused. And the lap time? A new course record. For the first time, a GT car marked an incredible lap time in the 51-second range. Thank you, Keiichi Tsuchiya. Toge Showdown News Update. The Toge Monsters Hachiroku, driven by Tsuchiya, was defeated by the Spirits MRS in the Toge 200 class. Unless further modifications could be done, Tsuchiya's Hachiroku had no way of revenge. TRD's Sakurai came to the rescue.
やっぱし悔しいですね。
1800に勝てる？
そう勝てると思いますよ。
First, the Hachiroku's engine was rebuilt and fully modified.
もしかしたらいいかもしれないぞ。
The Spirit MRS is said to run this track in the minute 8 seconds range. Dory must lap the track in a faster time. What the?
ね、エンジンが重くなってきたよ。
Unexpectedly, the Hachiroku's engine blew.
行っちゃったかもしれない。あ、そうですか。
帰ろう。
Meantime, shocking information from Spirits was revealed.
車が盗難に遭ってしまいました。
What? What's going to happen now?
全く雰囲気は同じ MRS を用意してあります。セリカのスポーツ M というタイプの、ヘッドチューンがされているエンジンがたまたま見つかってて、それを乗せてある車です。
Whoa, another fast MRS. Can the Hachiroku really win? The Hachiroku's pride is at stake here. Stay tuned for many more fast cars to appear on BMI's Toge Showdown. BMI Toge Showdown. With enough power to tear up the track, these machines were born to conquer any corner. The most powerful beasts with unlimited power are finally unleashed. BMI Toge Showdown Toge Max.
さあ始まりました峠最強伝説。今回マックスです。
やだもんこれ。
マキシマム。
やだもん。
マキシマムわかります？
いや、マックス。
マックス。とっても危険ってことですね。とっても危険。あ、来た。すみません。誰でしたっけ？
怪獣。
近藤和美です。
Her fan club is growing everywhere. Isn't she a cutie?
なんと今回は封印されていたもう日本のトップスポーツカー GTR とスープラ。
この道幅でその車格は結構やばいよね。
で今回来てる車の中でなんと600馬力オーバーの車も。
それやばいよそれ。
600馬力なんてありえません。ラジアルとグリップしないから。
やばいよガオ。
やばいですよガオ。
ガオ。
本当にガオじゃん。
ガオ。わボケてんじゃねえよ。
すいません。
じゃあ、はい、マックス行ってみますか。はい。ね。はい。皆さんの目を覚ましてあげましょう。はい。
For this second round of the Toge Max battle, some of the fastest tuned cars in Japan were gathered. The preliminary round will focus on driving feel as usual, and the downhill sector times will be clocked as a reference. First up is the S15 Sylvia from Yashio Factory.
ブーストアップの中で一番高級バージョン、カムもつけて、乗りやすい350馬力ぐらいですね。フィーリングは多分ね、特別賞もらえると思う。
じゃあ行ってみようかな。じゃあナビ見ながらね、これ見えねえこれ角、この向こうが。モトラルパワーいいね。
Yashio Factory previously brought out their 400 horsepower machine, but Tsuchiya didn't like it so much. How will this car be rated? With total balance in mind, the car's output is a modest 350 horsepower. Yashio has set up the suspension solely for this Bunsai Toge. Even the outspoken Tsuchiya is praising the car. I guess total balance is more important than raw power. But the car looks comfortable though. Let's hear what Orito has to say.
ハンドリングもすごくステアリングに対して車が素直に動く。怖くないもんね。
Being an owner himself, Taniguchi is a critic when it comes to Sylvias.
ブーストアップでこんだけ走るのすごいね。ノーマルタービンそうだもんね。
Taniguchi does his trademark drift turn with ease. Proof of this car's good handling. Entry number 2 is the Fujita Engineering, famous for tuning rotary engines. They bring their FD3S.
ブーストアップ仕様なんですけど、前置きインタークーラーですね。で、あとはフロントパイプ、マフラー、あとパワー AC でブーストもコントロールします。 着くまではね0秒なんで、どの辺までそれが通用するかっていうのでレースをしたいと思います。
On purpose, the car is still set up for the Tsukuba circuit. Can it do well on the Toge hills? Perhaps the track setting is too harsh for the Toge. In the flat sections, the car is capable of fast drifts with very little countersteering. Morito out for the impression.
いや本当なんかフロントがすごい軽くてめちゃくちゃ旋回性がいいよな。
Next up is the 550 horsepower Monster Supra. This is actually Orito's own ride.
どうもショップリドックス代表折戸学です。550馬力以上、トルクは65キロ以上で、足回りとかそういうのにこだわってまして、僕の中ではですね、一応 GT 選手権の練習用車、そんなイメージで作ってみました。スープルです。よろしく。よし。
そんな危ないの？
普通に乗れば大丈夫ですけど。
Whoa, Tsuchiya is going full throttle right from the start. He's flying.
ほんと速いこれ。マジかよってほら。
550 horsepower isn't just talk. This is what the Toge Max is all about.
乗り心地重視、アメ車みたい。
Taniguchi also going full blast.
俺はこういう車楽しいぞ。なんかね、乗り心地もいいしね。
Since Orito drives the car on a daily basis, the Supra has no problems clearing the bumps of this course. Let's see how the owner handles the car.
いや自分の車ながらね、これは楽しいね。
Look at him fully bumping the front tires.
どうよこれ。これとダップドリフトでしょ。
All 550 horsepower goes only to the rear wheels, but the car still handles well. The Supra holds very high potential.
今日のはみんな90点以上で、このフル装備俺は大好きね。
KSP Engineering enters the NSX with the swapped 3.2-liter C32B engine.
後期型の 3.2 リッターと6速を換装して、で駆動系を主にチューニングした車両ですね。車高をあえて落とすようなことをしないで持ってきたつもりなんですけれど、これがどう出るか。
What a great sounding engine. The nice, high-pitched note of a VTEC.
これもしかしたら速いよこれコーナー。
How will the car clear the long bend coming up? The sector time is recorded here. Most cars would suffer from understeering on this corner. The mid-shift NSX clears it with great traction. Sector time is in the first half of the 14 seconds mark.
すごい乗りやすいこれ。足の吸収もいい。
Taniguchi is now in the driver's seat.
フロントがね、逆に少しだるめにしてあるのがね、いいかも。
Boss captured the special award with their Lancer Evolution. How will they do with the Impreza Spec C?
一番の売り的には、ブリヂストンさんの試作のエアサスがついてます。素性はすごくいいんで、その辺のところで、とりあえずシェイクダウンみたいな格好ですね。
Fujioka-san brought out his secret weapon air suspension system. How is it? Since it's still in development, the sector time is not that impressive. Right now, they are still working on different air pressures and damping force.
やっぱりこうペコンペコンペコンペコン跳ねるのが気になりますね。だからペターっと落ち着いて曲がっていく感じじゃないな。
So far, both drivers have been pretty tough. How will Orito rate the car?
でも車高とか調整できるしビジュアル的にはいいよね。
Last but surely not least, MCR brings in their GTR. Will the car prove to be the king of the streets?
こういうとこでうち車作るの目的で車作るの多いんで、そんなに外すことはまずありえないと思うんで、GTR がどこでも速くて、世界一速い車っていうのを今日証明します。
The 600 horsepower GTR goes out for the impression. Wow, this car is also fast. The car weighs 1.5 tons, but the heavy weight is no disappointment to Tsuchiya. How's the sector time? The sector time comes close to the FD's fastest record. The real potential of the car can be seen in the high-speed sections. Despite the incredible speed, the car stays extremely stable. Burrito goes out to check it out.
すげえいい。この限界を超えるとオーバーじゃなくてアンダーが出るってとこがすごいいいね。あ、これがもう限界なんだなってのがすごいすぐ分かるもんね。
Taniguchi should be familiar with high-powered vehicles, perhaps not in a narrow toge like this one. Taniguchi is pressing on the turbo boost scramble button, which increases the peak power to 650 horsepower.
このスクランブルボタンってのがまたいいね。
Created to rule the racing tracks, the GTR's potential is nothing short of phenomenal. The car can perform even in this narrow toge road. That wrapped up the preliminary round. The qualifiers for the final battle will be exceptionally difficult to choose.
結果発表。
じゃがじゃーん。じゃがじゃん。
インプレッサー。
はい。インプレッサー。ボス。
ボス。
エアーサスの考え方はいい。だけどね、曲がんない。
ですね。まだまだちょっと煮詰めが足んないですね。
そうそう、ノーマルの方がね、よく曲がる。だからね、もうちょっと頑張りましょう。
はい。
ね。第5位。
はい。
じゃがじゃん。お、リドックス。オリマム号。
おめでとうございます。
リドックスの社長さんですか？
はい。
ショップの方。
名チューナーです。
名チューナーね。
タイムアタックっていうよりもやっぱいっちゃうかなみたいなそのノリあるじゃないですか。
そうです。
これどう見ても皆さん区間タイム狙ってないですよね。
狙ってない。
ものすごい絶対踏んでますねこれね。
このスープラ走った後コースかなりブラックマークだらけでした。
いやだけど楽しいこれは。
楽しいですよね。
乗りやすい。
速さ的には大したことないけど、楽しさではね97点は上げております。ご苦労さんでした。
いいテストドライバーが乗ると違いますね。
はい、ご苦労さんでしたね、どうもね。さあ続いて第4位。はい、じゃがじゃん。藤田エンジニアリング。これね結構いいんだけど点数低いよね。普通にギャップがなかった場合は俺95点。これギャップでね飛ばされちゃうの。
ちょっとリアが跳ねる感じはあります。
っていうかねストロークがないですよね。
いや結構あるんですけど、リバンプの減衰が高すぎるんじゃないですか。すぐ伸びてこない。
そうそ
んな感じですね。
区間タイムは1位ですからね。
でも区間タイム
1位。
区間タイム1番。
おめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
さあそれでは第3位。
第3位。
第3位。
NSX 来ましたね。NSX 来ましたね。3位。
問題は ABS だけですよね。
ABS 怖い。これね NSX これ旧型と FD の ABS は怖い。
本体は ABS は結構肝ですよね。
新型の ABS はつかないんですか？
移植すればいけるかもしれないんで今後試してみようかと。
大変ですよね。
新車買った方がいいですね。
それでもなかなか高得点第3位です。
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
さあそれでは第2位。
気になりますね。気になりますね。
じゃじゃん。ヤシオファクトリー。
おめでとうございます。
お母ちゃんお買い物しようじゃないんだよこれ。
でも本当にいいですよ。これ本当にこれだったら全然街乗りからオールマイティにいける。
全然いける。俺が思ったのはね、これは車庫調じゃなくてノーマルタイプかな。
昔のそのノーマル形状っぽいですよね。
おつやもいけるんですよ。おつやも。
はい、ありがとうございます。さあそれでは第1位です。じゃがじゃん MCR。
おめでとうございます。
来ましたね。首都高最速。
さすが。
ね、最速車としてはどうですか、峠は。
まあ狙った通りかな。
何が狙った通りなんだ、聞いたかよ。
もうめんどくさいからこれ1位と5位入れ替えますよ
これ。これ峠攻められるもん。
峠も攻められるし、多分狙ってるポイントはもっと3速4速の中速高速間だと思う。
首都高の跳ねるのが一緒なんだよここと。
ですね、
羽の収まりもいいし、
全然跳ねないもんな。
それからブレーキがすごい止まるでしょ。
やっぱりね、毎晩一コ走ってるだけのことはあるんですね。そう出れねえよそういう感じで、第1位は MCR の GTR でした。
おめでとうございました。
さあそれでは超危険なヤバトルです。これ3台行こうか今回。
マジですか？
マジですか？
Under special rules, we'll be running the first place MCR, second place Yashio S15, and the car with the fastest sector time, the FD. Let the Toge showdown begin. A special triple car battle. As usual, the battle will take place on the 1.5 kilometer downhill course. Initial D rules will be in effect.
危ないですね、危ないですね。
The battle will be fought with the FD and the GTR changing places on each race. Yashio Factory's S15 will try to follow the two cars in front.
おお、やべえ。
この GTR。
The 1.5-ton GTR incredibly closes the gap at braking point. From here, the long bending corner used for sector time recording continues. Check out the cornering speed of the FD3S, but Yashio's S15 is still following right behind. Dory is being left behind. Whoa, he goes in too fast to the corner. The FD takes the first round.
セブンのスピードで入っていくとダメだね。
とりあえず1本目はいただきました。
やばいっす。次頑張ってください。今日は楽勝っぽいな。
直線でちぎるしかないね GTR は。
Tsuchiya in the MCR GTR leading off.
早いな。
早いよ。
Acceleration with 600 horsepower is just amazing. Will the MCR get away? But the FD shows some serious speed in the sector time zone. The FD has closed the gap created by the GTR's rocket start. Will Arito win 2 in a row? MCR GTR gets a break, zips through the last corners of the course. The GTR takes the second round.
楽勝。あれコーナーすごい速いからね。だからコーナーをビューってきてこっちがアンダー出てる間に追いつかれちゃうから立ち上がりでドカンこう逃げ切る。
やばい。やだな。本当なんでこんなことするんだろう。
Since driving in this battle requires an enormous amount of concentration, Orito is already feeling the stress.
ここまではなんとかいけるんだよな。こう回り込んでくるとセブンの方がやっぱ速い。
Tsuchiya is also feeling discouraged. The one who makes the mistake will for sure lose this
ここが
battle.
また速い。アンダー出ちゃう。
The GTR has better ABS than the FD, but Arito is making up for that by using his e-brakes to control the brake balance. The Drift King is also using his e-brakes to kill the understeer. These drivers will master any car in just a few runs. Both drivers making no mistakes so far. They're entering the high-speed sector of the course. The MCR GTR is closing in on the FD. Who's the winner? As planned, Yashio Factory's S15 receives the special award for today.
どうしてもチューナーだからパワーを出したいんだけれども、それをあえて抑えたっていうところが良かったのかな。
Congratulations, Okamura-san.
さあいかがだったでしょうか、峠の魔王マックス
危なかったですね。
早すぎです。
これはね危険なんで1年に1回にしましょう。
そうしましょう、
それでは結果発表です、魔王になるのはどっちだ。これね微妙なんだよね。
微妙ですね。
MCR はすごいいいんだけど GTR すごいいいんだけどコーナーが藤田エンジニアリングすごいの。
やっぱセブンの方がちょっと早い感じがしますね。
だけどマックスだから、やっぱこう MCR ぐらいのパワーは欲しいなと、で仮として、今仮としてMCR の GTR
おめでとうございます。
これ次のホットバージョンではやられちゃうかもしれない。これ見て MCR 上等だよって思ってるやつがいっぱいいますからね。
もう策はあります。
嘘。
はい。いややってなかったですよね。
そういうことに燃えるタイプですから。
いいねいいね。またオレンジの周り走るわけということでね、MCR の GTR をやっつける方はこちらまで。
As one of the ultimate normally aspirated cars of today, the Honda S2000 has been praised all over the world. Meanwhile, despite the luxurious image it had at the time of its debut, the Z33 has proven itself as a performance car in various fields of motorsport. What would happen if the high-revving VTEC-powered S2000 went head-to-head against the Z33 with its powerful 3.5-liter engine? Just which car reigns as the king of NA-powered vehicles? BMI brings you Ultimate FR Battle. Representing the S2000 is the car from Powerhouse Amuse, better known as the Toge Monster. With the amenities of AC and stereo intact, more than 100 kilograms has been shaved off this car from use of carbon fiber and titanium materials. The car realizes an incredibly high level of performance with the perfect setting. The Z33 going against the Toge Monster is again from Amuse. This car also benefits from carbon fiber and titanium, losing more than 100 kilograms. The engine has been modified with a new camshaft and a remapped CPU, realizing an increase of 40 horsepower.
ということで、アミューズ号の魔王。どっちが速いのこれ？
ちっちゃいコーナーとかコーナリングが続くとこっちが速いと思います。ただ今日のバトルは東コースってことなんで上り坂があってその辺でそれぞれの特徴が出て面白いかな。
なるほどね。ということで、それでは上り下りのある東コースでやってみたいと思います。
First, Tsuchiya checks out the S2000. The setting has not been changed from the Toge battles. The Toge Monster seems to be good on the track as well. Going against the S2000 is the Amuse Z33. Can the car overcome its luxury image?
これは絶対いいと思う俺。今の入りいいし、安いよこれ。変な癖がどこにもないよこれ。ほんと乗りやすい。
From the remarkable cornering speed, it's hard to imagine that this Z33 is still 200 kilograms heavier than the S2000.
びっくりした。Z はクソだと思ってたけど、すごいスポーツカー。これはここまでねするのにいくらかかるかっていうことなんだけど、ここまで速くなれば俺はね Z は認める。 S2000 はねすごい軽快に動くしね。これはやっぱり重いなりに大排気量車の重い動きをするし、だけどその重い車なんだけども軽く動く。 S2000 は軽い車だから軽いなりにその自分がこう想像する理想する車の動きを両方ともする。だから乗っててどこも怖いところがないんだよね両方ともね。 らそれなりの車重の動き方はしてる。
To gang up on the S2000, we have another Z33 on the entry list. The Esprit Z33. With an increased displacement of 3.6 liters, the engine has been fully tuned. The only weight loss is from the carbon-made front hood. The base car comes without the VDC, so the handling is very natural to begin with. Z33 versus S2000, the ultimate FR battle. And the S2000 is Orido.
やっぱ走りといえばね、このアミューズのね、魔王 S2000 ですよ。これね、峠で速い車だけど、さっきと言っても速い。ベストなんかには絶対負けない。
Tsuchiya is in the Amuse Z33.
大排気量の車ですけれどもね、 S2000 のといっても魔王ですからね、格下の2リッターですけれども、まあ排気量で勝ってやろうと、このように思います。
In the Esprit Z is Taniguchi.
ABC 東はやっぱりパワーでしょう。パワーでスタートで前出て、あとはそれを抑えきる、この作戦でいきたいと思います。
Will the big torque Z33 reign or the high-revving S2000? Ebisu East Course 3-lap battle begins. Dori Dori in the Amuse Z is off to a good start. Orido is trying to keep up with Tsuchiya.
クロスのギアが当たったんだ。
Tsuchiya snatching the top position. Will he stay on top for the entire race? Despite the smaller power unit, the S2000 is keeping up.
最終コーナー絶対こっちの方が速い。癒し合ってるもん。
The ultimate FR battle. The speeds of these three cars are incredible. By the way, I thought Taniguchi was going to outpower the S2000.
上り変わんねえよ。
As Tsuchiya predicted, the Z33 spreads the lead on the straightaway. This means that Orido's chance of passing will be in the downhill sectors of the course. To remind you, the S2000 is fast through these S-turns, but the Amuse Z33 is fast as well, if not faster. Orido's S2000 does manage to close the gap on the downhill braking point. Despite having 350 horsepower, the gear ratio of the Esprit Z does not match the Ebisu East Course. Since the car has to take the hairpin in third gear, the power cannot be made to good use. With Tsuchiya's Amuse Z33 on top, the battle moves on to the final lap. Only half a lap to go. One mistake and the position can still change. The final corner will be the last chance. Orido's S2000 tracing the perfect driving line. And there's the checkered flag. The Amuse Z33 wins the battle.
It's 2リッターのくせにしつけえよ。
マジでびっくりだよ。
やっぱ軽いからブレーキで詰めてくる。
そうですね、
ターンインまでは速いんだよ、でもコーナリングスピードは一緒なんだよ。
そうですで踏み始めぐらいまではいいんですけど、そこから離れてっちゃう。
やっぱトルク、
これ魔王号でしょ、いわゆる。
そう、まあうちの魔王号。
魔王ね。
うちの魔王。
群載で抜群の速さを誇る魔王が負けるわけでしょ。Z すごいですね。
すごい。
俺はたまげた。
いや僕ありだと思いますね。
たまげた。
As well as pure speed, improvements in the driving field must be made to in fact become a sport car. We look forward to bringing you more ultimate tuning cars in the future. BMI Hot Version News.
今回のホットバージョンニュースはグリップの奥深さに目覚めた一人のドリフト野郎に密着レポートしたいと思います。
The driver we are talking about is the 2003 D1 Series champion, one of the top drivers in the D1 ring, Yoichi Imamura. Recently, he entered an audition to become part of the BMI cast, but miserably exposed his lack of driving skills, accidentally locking his car with a heel and toe move.
これはもうとっても大事なこと。お前ドリフトだけで終わっちゃうよ。その先ないよ、花屋で。
After being exposed to real professional driving, Imamura was determined to master the art of grip driving. He entered the Potenza RE01 Grand Prix to prove his worth. Imamura often dropped by to our on-track video shooting locations and secretly practiced track driving behind the scenes.
いかにこう丁寧にハンドル切って、いかに立ち上がって、いかにアクセルを入れるっていうのが難しいなと。
The secret practices paid off. Imamura continued to win the local qualifying rounds to compete in the final round of the Potenza RE01 Grand Prix. Yoichi Imamura's Grip Driving Challenge.
俺が教えてやればいいんですよね、今日ね。
そうだな。
え？なんだよ。なんだよ。
帰ってもいいんだよ。
ああ、すみません、よろしくお願いします。本当。もう本当お父さんありですよ。
じゃあさ、
お父さんあり。
ちょっとさ、走りをチェックしよう。
まあスーパースターが言うなら俺もね、別に見てやってもいい。
見てやってもいいね。
With Tsuchiya's suggestion, we had Wakisaka drive Imamura's drift machine just like our My Car Challenge segments. Imamura's car is the D1 Championship car, the Apex D1 FD3S.
松屋にいっぱい出てるんだけども、ハンドル切っても曲がんないよ。
ちょっとライン外してごらん。ベストライン。
Orito coached Imamura with some driving tips before the time attack. I wonder if he's learned anything. Our camera car is the Boss Supra, equipped with brand new height-adjustable NPG coilovers. Today's condition on the Maze circuit was wet. The surface was extremely slippery, so even the drifter Imamura had to be careful.
怖いのって感じ。陽一はグリップするところを探さなきゃダメだよな。ずーっと同じ走り。
Considering today's bad conditions, Imamura's time wasn't that bad.
ポジションが遠いんでちょっと心配ですが、軽くはい。
Formula Nippon and JGTC driver Wakisaka goes in the D1 machine for the first time. Perhaps the seating position is really bothering him as he goes off the track. But Wakisaka doesn't drive in the Formula Nippon or the JGTC series for nothing. He grasps the characteristics of Imamura's car in just 3 laps.
小さく曲がる。本当だ。乗せないんだ。
Quickly adjusting to today's bad conditions, Wakisaka selects to focus on the corner acceleration and easily clocks the faster lap time.
言い返すことはありません。
だからね、そのタイムを縮めるっていうブレーキングじゃないんだよ。
そうだね。
でアクセルの入れ方も
自分もね走ってて攻めてないんですよ。全て安全でない。
だから限界速度より低いんだよ。まあグリップとかねドリフトとか考えるとどう走ればそのコーナーを一番速く走れるか、それが例えばそのグリップしてね走れば速いコーナーもあるし、次のコーナー行ったら滑らした方が速いコーナーもあるし、それは自分の中で決めたらいいのでいいんですけど、その辺も生かす方法も考えた方がいいんじゃないかな。
今村 な選手、01グランプリの決勝どうなるんでしょうか。
The 01 Grand Prix Finals. The track is under rain clouds again, but things can get more excited this way sometimes. Finalists from all over Japan are here to compete and show everything they've got today.
速いよ、本当に冗談抜きで。この車持ってきたからって別に速いとかそんなこと考えたら多分ね、全然そんなレベルじゃないよ。
Being the factory driver for Apex, Imamura is envied by everyone, but at the same time, the pressure is on Imamura. It seems like practicing at the Maze circuit paid off. Imamura is clocking very fast lap times in the practice sessions. But is there something wrong?
この車だとダメだって言われちゃって、商店街だって言われちゃって。
Many D1 drivers who are interested in brushing up their track driving skills participate in the 01 Grand Prix. The officials decided that such D1 drivers should be considered semi-professional, allowing them to run, but not eligible to compete and win any prizes. It turned out to be a bad day for Imamura, as he blew the engine of his car while giving a ride to some of his fans.
悔しい。練習走行がひどかったり決勝走れねえじゃねえかよ、この野郎。本当に。おい、負けねえぞこの野郎、お前ら。あれ、この野郎。
Despite the setback, Imamura decided to run the final race in Bridgestone's S2000 demo car. Getting too tense, Imamura's habit of shift locking for drifting begins to appear while driving. The A class was full of very competitive S2000s. How did Imamura do? His time was third overall. Imamura doesn't master grip driving.
まあね、まあグリップもできるようになってきたと。
まあ君たちのね、アドバイスも少しは役に立って。
いやそれはよかった。まあ俺たちの背中見て学べよね。オッケー。まあ大したもんだ。まあ大したもんだデブは。全然
心から言ってないじゃん。ああ大したもんだ。大したもんだ。
大したもんだ。はいはいはいはいはい。まあ。じゃあ俺は仕事しに行こう。仕事しに行こう。
楽しねえかよ。おい、なんだよそれ。